Good afternoon, everybody. An educated economist here. So this is part 2 of a short little video series that I'm doing where I'm breaking down this interview that was done with a guy named Brian Reynolds, where he's talking about these pension funds and what's going on with the money from these pension funds. And now part 1 talked about something called the daisy chain. And not to go too much in that video, but the daisy chain refers to taxes going into pensions and pensions going to purchase corporate debt, and then these corporations taking that money that they borrow from the pensions and buying back their own stock, swelling up the stock price. Now, what he goes to in part 2 is something called the panic, and what ends up happening is that every once in a while we'll have a downturn in the markets where things start to turn down, and these pension funds end up holding back how much they are buying from the corporations as how much corporate debt they are buying. And what they are doing is they're hoping to hold back a little bit, seeing that they're going to find a better interest rate. So, ultimately they are looking for the 7.5% interest. And if they see a downturn in the market, they're going to hold back, seeing if they can find a higher interest rate as, people are panicking, nobody's lending any money to each other. And these corporate bonds start seeking out somebody to loan them money, and they start raising the interest rates. That's when they'll step back in. Once they do, the whole thing kind of undoes itself, and all that money that was being held back just suddenly floods into the corporate debt market, and then now they're able to buy their stock back again, and then you have this big rally, and essentially what we saw from 2019 onward. And he says this has happened pretty much 35 times in the last 10 years. Now that's kind of what he was referring to as far as the panic goes. Now, he said something else in there that was also kind of scary, and he was talking about how Detroit set the precedent as far as state constitution not really holding up when it came to federal court and it came to these pension funds. So during this bankruptcy court, the pension funds say, yeah, but we got a state constitution that says we're going to get paid back, paid what they say they're going to pay us. And they said, yeah, we know that you have the state constitution that says that, but you're filing in federal court, and unfortunately, we're going to say differently on that. Now, this spooked all the pension funds out there going across the board, and what they ended up doing is increasing taxes to try and shrink the gap between what they owe or what they have promised and what they have. So they are unfunded by about a third, and they're seeking these really high returns, these risky assets, in order to make up for this funding gap that they have. And now they're taxing even more to try and shrink this funding gap, seeing as how Detroit already proved that they are going, if they happen to go bankrupt, that not everybody's going to get paid. And what this has done is this increase in taxes has found its way into that corporate debt market, increasing even more into the share buybacks that they are doing. All right, so that was part 2, the panic. Uneducated Economist. You guys let me know.